we have to lay a platform to make sure every single consumer and athlete, no matter where they're from, has the opportunity to take part in sport.
You mentioned Phelps there. I mean, Jason, describe if you can the ethos. What does Under Armour represent as a brand?
Yeah, it really starts with the vision. So the vision of Under Armour to empower all athletes everywhere, and the mission of Under Armour to make all athletes better through passion, design, and the relentless pursuit of innovation. So a couple of words there. Passion really lives through when you say ethos, how we live and breathe at Under Armour, and how our athletes train and work to win, as Lee mentioned.
You also have a knack for picking the right guys to work with. Because let's go through the year that Under Armour have had, shall we? Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, coming back, the greatest Super Bowl comeback of all time, orchestrating that for the Patriots. Jordan Spieth, one of the great Open Championship back nines. Steph Curry for the Golden State Warriors. Anthony Joshua knocking out Vladimir Klitschko at Wembley in front of 90,000 people. Going to put you on the spot here, guys. I want a different answer as well. Highlight for you from the year.
For me, I had the privilege to be at the Anthony Joshua fight.
Wow. That must mean something. Ringside, I assume.
It was close enough. I was very, very lucky. But kind of go on that journey with AJ right the way through, from the training camp through into the event, and actually to watch him so cool. But what he does is he represents who we are as a brand, and that's why we have him as one of our brand ambassadors. But honestly speaking, in the 5th round, I thought Klitschko was finished. I didn't expect him to get up. And then in the 7th, when he went down, it was like one of my family had dropped. And I was desperate. And then, of course, then you go through to the 10th, and then the uppercut, which everybody's seen, that punch that comes through, finished. So for me, that's my best moment.
I'm not sure how Klitschko's head is still attached to his shoulder.
Yeah,
that was the most ridiculous punch. Jason?
Yeah, you can't beat that, definitely. And I had the pleasure to see Anthony in Rio last year. We had a little training session with him. You could see he had the spirit, and he really had a vision what he wanted to accomplish. I come from a bit more of a golf background, so I might lean towards Jordan's accomplishments. That 13th hole at the Open was unbelievable. The back nine in general, the fortitude and the will that took to really bring it through was something that just stood out to me. So I'm not the greatest golfer, but you can see when you're in a bad position, it is possible, and you see it through, and it was really impressive to see.
How does Under Armour as a brand identify these guys? I mean, there's no fluke that they're all doing what they're doing at the top of their respective sports. How do you guys pick them out? Because you guys signed Jordan Spieth way before anything really happened in his career.
Yeah, honestly, Robbie, it's a two-way street. So yeah, we go out and look for the athletes that are in that performance element, in the ready to explode part of their career. And a lot of them come to us too, looking for us as that authentic training brand that they can associate with and help them in their journey.
Well, listen, guys, just time for one more, and it's going to be a Michael Phelps related question, this one. How much does Michael embody the spirit of Under Armour in his dedication to training, the fact that he's shown relentless will to win, he will not take failure for an answer, and the longevity that he's had throughout his career?
Well, for me, this is all about the legacy, the legend of Michael Phelps. These guys are here to see somebody who they probably aspire to be and take inspiration from. And these guys here take inspiration from his training philosophy. That's what, for me, is all about.
Well, I think we can meet him very, very shortly, guys. I think he is in the building. Listen, gentlemen, an absolute pleasure. Lee Devon, Jason Archer, give it up. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it is the moment you've all been waiting for. It's the moment you have come for. Please put your hands together for a man who is quite simply the greatest Olympian of all time. 28 Olympic medals, 23 of them gold. It is the one named Michael Phelps. Give it up for Michael Phelps. Yeah. Anywhere that's comfortable for you? How are you?
Good. It's good. Good. How are you?
Very good, Michael. Listen, 28 Olympic medals. I've got to start there. 23 goals. The stat that jumped out to me when I was doing my research was that if you were a country, and I know you've probably heard this before, I know that's a weird concept to wrap your head around, but if you were a country, you would be ranked 35th on the all-time list of Olympic medals. I mean, how surreal is that? I saw in another interview you said you haven't processed it all yet.
No. And honestly, I don't know when I will. You know, my whole career has been so like go, 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 from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. I've never really had the chance to sit back and take it all in. So for me, I kind of worked my way until up to 2008, and my wife and I had the chance to go to China, and we took our son over, and I was going through the moments where I was in certain lanes and replaying all the races in my head and kind of explaining what was going on in my head to my wife, and I think that's where I'm at right now, and I would say that from 2004 to 2008 to 2012, I think those 4 years will probably be the most challenging for me. Just because I wasn't truly engaged in what I was doing, and I didn't really want to swim. So I think those 4 years will be the most challenging, and obviously the last two or three were the best. I had the most fun, I think, in Rio, and I think it showed. You can ask you guys, I don't know. But I enjoyed it, and I think that was the best part about it. For me, finishing exactly how I wanted to. I think there's no better way to do it, and being able to have my family there, my son there, and just kind of hang my suit up how I wanted to. That was my number one goal, and never have a what if. 20 years down the road, I can look back at my career now and say, I did everything I wanted to, and I did it my way, and I think that's the best way to do it.
We see time and time, even with the greatest athletes, you don't necessarily get to author your own perfect ending, and
right.
You did.
Yeah.
And how much pressure was on you at Rio? The fact that you knew it was your last one, and you come back after London. I mean, did you feel that extra sense of pressure?
I think for me at the time it was more. I kind of knew what to do when I got to the Olympics, right? Like, I know what to do when I'm behind the block or getting ready for a race or this or that. I've done it so long. I've done it for so long. I think for me it was just about having fun. I think being a dad and kind of being the old dude on the team.
So you felt like a dad, right?
I was a dad at the time, and I did because for me for so long my goal was to change the sport of swimming, and to have some of my teammates come up to me and say, I looked at you on the wall. Like I had a poster of you on my wall growing up as a kid. For me, I think I'm at the stage in my life where I can understand that and kind of be proud about my goal is starting to be accomplished. And I'm able to hopefully inspire kids in the sport of swimming and other sports to follow their dreams. For me as a kid, that's all it started with. It started with a little goal of wanting to win an Olympic gold medal, breaking a world record. And from there, it just kept climbing, and I always wanted more. So, over the time and the training that I did, I had the opportunity to do something that nobody else had ever done before, and that was a true dream come true.
We're going to get some questions on your career, on your retirement. I know some fans here have some questions for you as well.
Hi, guys. How old are you guys? How old? So we have like 7, 8, 9? 9? 9 to 11, 16. All right, we got all ages. You guys have some questions? What do we got? What are we starting with?
We're going to get to them in just a moment. I've got a couple more myself. You've called out Conor McGregor.
I didn't call him out. It wasn't a call out. It's honestly
Has he accepted the challenge yet?
I don't know. I
That's
think if he did, I think we would all know. Honestly, I did it as a joke. For me, it was kind of...
Is that your most retweeted tweet ever?
I don't know. I'd have to look at it. Somebody kept sending me all the, like a photo of us side by side, and I was like, okay, well, let's make a joke. If he wants to swim, I'll race him. But no, I think it'd be kind of comical. I don't know if he'll accept it or not, but if he does, I think we'd have some fun with it.
That was one crossover fight. You did also take on a great white shark as well earlier this year. You are a big fan, aren't you? You're a big fan of Shark Week. How was that experience?
When it comes to water and it comes to shark, I think it's that's probably where I'm the biggest nerd. I just love everything about the ocean. I love the sharks. I like the animals. For me, I had the opportunity to swim with 7 of over 500 different species of sharks, and for me, I think the coolest part was actually seeing the hammerhead within 6 inches to a foot in front of my face. A 13-foot hammerhead was literally right there, and that was one of the coolest things I've seen. I'd like to do more. I'm a huge shark fan. I love Shark Week, and hopefully we can get back in the water with some other species.
You have expressed an interest on free diving with great whites as well. Has that been signed off by the family?
I think now that I have a family, I don't think I'm allowed to do that. I would like to dive with great whites out of a cage, but I think I have some other things in my life that are more important, so I might not do that. But it would be fun, and I have a friend who's done it a bunch that he feels very safe with it. And, obviously those guys do it for a living where they're filming. I mean, I dove with a guy who's dove over 70 times free dive with great whites, and he's still here. He's got all his hands and legs on it and everything. But he just did something with orcas. I think that'll be cool to be able to see them in the wild. He did something with like 10 to 15 different wild orcas off the coast of New Zealand, and he said they were just like big teddy bears. All they wanted to do was play. So I think it'd be really cool just to be able to experience some of the creatures that we have in open water. Just watching them in their own element is really cool.
Well, listen, we're here at the Under Armour store. You, of course, are a proud Under Armour ambassador, both from Baltimore. What does the brand mean to you? Tell us how you developed this relationship with Under Armour.
I mean, for me as a kid growing up, it's all we wanted to wear. So it was something that was always in my wardrobe. And once I got to time where I spent some time with Kevin and be around the brand, I was able to be a part of the brand. And for me, this is something that's so exciting because this is something that if you look at me on a day-to-day basis, I'm head to toe in it. And it's because I want to. And I think that's something that's so special. What Kevin has done and how big of a visionary he truly is. Watching him expand like this, and I'm glad we are able to be here in Dubai and to open up the store to give you guys the opportunity to see how great this stuff is. It's amazing, and for me, health and wellness is something that's so important in my life on a day-to-day basis, and that's what we're doing. That's what Under Armour is about. Being able to get out, being able to get a little workout in, and for me, it's something I need every single day to be able just to be a good father, a good husband, a good friend. I hope that I'm with Under Armour for a long time. I love KP, I love the brand, I love what they do, and the stuff is getting cooler and cooler.
I want to ask you about the commercial because you and Under Armour, you share this insatiable thirst for training, and Rule Yourself, which was the advert. If you haven't seen this advert, it's on YouTube. It is a phenomenal commercial. It's called Rule Yourself, and the message is what you do in the dark enables you to shine in the light. Talk to us about that.
I mean, it's so true.
Process.
Nobody really saw what I did behind closed doors, and the amount of training I did, and recovery, sleep, eat, everything that went into me being able to be me and do what I had to do. So that's just a little taste of the behind the scenes stuff, and it's true in every walk of life, right? We're all working hard at a goal that we have, and a lot of people don't really see what we do behind closed doors, but once we accomplish that goal, then other people around you get to see what you're working so hard towards. So for me, being able to come back and being able to have one more Olympics and to be able, like we were saying earlier, finish my career on top, that's a little taste of what I had to go through over 20 years.
And training, Michael, because I know famously you trained 5 years straight without taking a day off, which is, I can't wrap my head around that is for sure, but what was your approach to training? How did you split time between the other activities outside of the pool and in the pool?
For me, I had the opportunity to do something that nobody else had ever done, and that's something that excited me every day. So for me, it was easy to sacrifice certain things. So, when Bob had this idea, my coach had this idea of training every single day, and he explained to me why we were doing it. In the sport of swimming, if you take one day off, it takes you 2 days to get back to where you were. So I wanted to take a step ahead of everybody else, because they weren't training on Sundays. They weren't training on holidays. So for me, every single year, I had 52 extra days ahead of every single person. So I was willing to make that sacrifice to have the opportunity to do something that nobody else had ever done. And I didn't care, I wanted to do it. So for me, it was easy to make that sacrifice and to go into the water on Christmas morning before we open up our presents, or on my birthday when I'd rather not do anything. I did it. And I think that there's another thing that I always say. I think the difference between good and great, the people who are great will do things when they don't always want to do things. And I think that's something that for me, I didn't want to go to the pool every day, but I had goals that I wanted to accomplish, and I was hard on myself. So I forced myself during those days because I knew I wanted to accomplish my goal, and that would help me accomplish my goal.
And then for all those athletes taking the day off, you felt you were getting an edge, a step ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we had that extra day, and you know, they weren't back to their normal self after taking a Sunday off until Tuesday. On Tuesday, they were able to be back to where they were on Saturday. So I had essentially had 3 days a week where I was ahead of them. So I was taking those steps and building. And for us, we would always say, putting money in the bank. Because then when we got to that big meet, we were able to withdraw everything we put in and the hard work that we did to be able to have a good result. And you know, for me, I knew I had to train every single day if I wanted the results at the end. You know, for me, I wanted to win every single race I swam. I mean, that was my goal. I didn't want to lose. So I did things to make sure that I had the chance every time I stood on the block to win.
And there's a lot of stories doing the rounds about how many calories you were consuming, Michael, during your peak time. Can you clear it up? How many calories were you?
I think it started in a European tabloid that I had 12,000 calories, which is basically impossible. I mean, it's possible, but that's a lot of food. I would say during my career, during the biggest time where I was growing and working as hard as I could, I was probably eating 8,000 to 10,000 calories a day. Just to build muscle, to make sure I was recovering how I needed to. But for me as a kid, eating basically was a job. And I got to the point where I didn't want to eat anymore. Because I was always, I mean, like I said, I was trying to get stronger. I was trying to rebuild muscle that was broken down from training. And I had to eat to do that. So for me, I was just forcing myself to eat. It was tight. I'm glad I don't do that anymore.
And a year out, Michael, obviously a year out from your retirement, how has your approach to staying in shape changed? Are you still very rigorous in the way you approach this?
I have to. You know, I think I found myself in the past where I've taken 6 months off where I didn't do anything. I didn't work out. I just sat around and basically gained 30 or 40 pounds. So, you know, for me to be the best husband, to be the best father, to be the hardest worker, I need to get in the gym and do something. We were in there for an hour and a half this morning, and you know, for me, health and wellness is probably the most important thing for me in my life. It's been something I've done for 20 plus years, and it's going to continue to be every day. I try to work out 6 days a week if I can, and even if it's just getting in there and getting a small sweat, it's just something that I need to be able to work and to be myself every day.
Physically, you were almost built to be a swimmer. You have the perfect physique for swimming. In terms of athletic talent versus training, what's your interpretation of the split with them?
I mean, for me, it's a combination of obviously being able to make sacrifices, hard work every day. But I think the biggest thing that really made me who I am and who I was in the pool was everything that was in between my ears. You know, for me, it was my mental game that was. I don't know if it was better than anybody else. I think it was pretty strong, and you know, for me, I was preparing myself for the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then what I really wanted. You know, so it was how a race could go, how I don't want a race to go, and in a perfect world, how I wanted to go. So I was prepared for absolutely anything. You know, in 2008, my goggles filled up with water right when I dove off the block, and I swam 175 meters basically blind. But I did it because I reverted back to what I did in training. So for me, I was already prepared for that. And I mean, this last year, before I got up for the 800 free relay, my cap ripped. So I know that I can't represent another athlete. I can't wear a cap with their name on it. So just out of instinct, I turned it inside out, put it on, and had like 30 seconds before I went and dove in. But I stayed calm, and I think that's the biggest thing. Because if I wasn't calm, that would have taken away from what I was trying to do in the pool.
What do you miss most about it? What do you miss most about swimming competitive? Zero. There must be something.
No, I think, you know, for me, having the opportunity to represent my country, I think was one of the coolest things in the world. You know, this past, last summer, I was voted to carry our flag out in opening ceremonies, and that was something that was one of the coolest things ever. Every time I talk about it, it still sends chills on my body. You know, having that opportunity to lead our country into the 2016 Olympics will be something that I'll remember forever and something I'll cherish forever. You know, but I think I think probably the number one thing I'll miss is standing on top of the podium with a gold medal around your neck, listening to your national anthem play. There's nothing better than that, and I've had the opportunity a couple of times to hear that, and it'll stink not having it anymore, but turn it over to somebody else, and hopefully we can continue the tradition of making sure we hear our national anthem. I think that's the cool part about swimming now is there are so many different countries that are getting so much more powerful, and you see a lot of different countries having a chance to win an Olympic medal, period. And in the past, I think in the sport of swimming, it was so much Australia, USA, and now the whole world is basically coming up and competing for these medals. And I think that's something that's truly a treat to watch, and just seeing the sport change.
You had I think your goal when you were 15 was to change the sport of swimming. Where did that come from? Because I suppose most athletes, they just want to win the event in front of them. They don't have a lofty goal like that. Did that come from anywhere?
My heart. I think that's the biggest thing. For me, growing up in the swimming world, I've seen, how much swimming or how big swimming is in Australia, and I wanted that in the U.S. And it's changed a lot. And like I said, in 2016, being able to listen to kids say, I had your photo on my wall as motivation, and to be able to share an Olympics with them, seeing them achieve their goals and their dreams, I think it's just something that's showing me that the sport is changing, and the influence that I've had throughout my career is showing, and I think that's something that it's a treat to be able to see and to be able to be a part of it. Swimming has meant so much to me, and it's given me so much, and I'd like everybody else to have the opportunity to have the same experience that I did.
And I think retirement it's misleading in sport, isn't it? Because there's
not
retired.
true. It's not really retirement.
Probably still a workaholic, I would imagine.
For me, I'm always somebody that has to go. I can't sit still. I think it's my ADHD that really just kicks in and just bounces me off the walls. But I think what I'm doing now is probably more challenging than swimming for an Olympics, just because it's something different, right? But what I'm doing now, I think, is so much more exciting. Being able to stand out of the pool, and whether it's helping them in the pool, helping kids in the pool, trying to, explain certain things that I've learned throughout my career. Talking about mental health is something that's truly a big part of my life. For me, I can say I've gone through depression a handful of times, and found myself in the darkest place possible, not wanting to be alive, and being able to battle through that and still be able to come back and do exactly what I wanted to do in 2016. I think shows that anybody can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to, and I think that's something that we all should believe. By no means has my career been absolutely perfect, but the goals that I've had and the dreams that I've had have allowed me to be able to accomplish anything I ever put my mind to. And that goes for everybody else in this room as well. Water safety is something that's so important to me as well. We lose too many kids and too many adults in drowning incidents, and that needs to change. That's something that we're working on every single day, and I think we're in over 200 countries with Special Olympics worldwide trying to help and teach kids to be water safe. Plus continuing to grow my brand. My swim brand is new to the swimming world, and having the history of being able to work with a company for an extended period of time, and now being able to have hands-on experience where I can build a suit, I can build a cap, I can build goggles that I think are the best, anywhere from learning to swim all the way up to the highest level of competition. So for me, it's exciting, and I think going through my first retirement helped me to now be able to go through my second retirement, and I guess it taught me a lot. I think before I was so lost on what I really wanted to do, and now I'm able to have goals outside of the sport of swimming, just to be able to try to help as many people as I want. And, honestly, at the end of the day, if you ask me what my legacy would be, I think that's what it would be. I'd want to be able to save more lives than win a gold medal. I think that's way more important, and over time, you guys will see the initiatives that we're doing and the things that we're working towards, and there are way too many suicides each year, and I've gotten to the point where I understand it's okay to not be okay. Like I said, I've been in the worst spots in the world, and I've still been able to get out of them with the help that I have from people around me, and the desire that I have inside of me.
Well, listen, Michael, it's great. It's fantastic. Who's going first?
Go for it. Hi. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Caroline. My question is, if you hadn't been a swimmer, what sport would you love to train for?
If I said what? Oh my gosh, that's my answer.
You doing a Steph Curry?
No, I mean, I won't be that good. Maybe. We have one small child at home and another one on the way, so that takes away from trying to grind on the golf course every single day. The question was, what other sport would I play if I wasn't a swimmer? And she said, except golf. That would have been my answer. I played lacrosse, baseball, soccer as a kid growing up, and I would say out of those three, I was a decent lacrosse player, but maybe baseball. I don't know. I don't think football. I don't really have hands to catch. I would say baseball. That was something that I loved and I watched growing up as a kid. I had the opportunity to see some of the greatest baseball players. Seeing Cal Ripken break, the longest consecutive game streak as a kid growing up, and having the opportunity just to watch the O's, and that's something I would love. I think it's probably baseball. If I can't pick off.
I still feel we may see you on the fairways of a web.com or PGA Tour event.
I won't be on the fairways.
For the longest putt.
I won't be on the fairways. I'll be in the rough. I have a hard time hitting the ball straight.
Who's next with a question for Michael?
My worst injury was my own stupidity in breaking a hand. I actually broke my wrist 6 months before Olympic trials in 2008. I slipped on a patch of ice and went like that, and my wrist popped back and it looked like I had a golf ball coming out of my wrist. So about 2 days after that, I got surgery on it, and I was in the water the next day. Just because I had probably the biggest meet of my life coming up in 6 months, so I had to get ready for it. But for me, I was very fortunate to have an amazing trainer who helped me get through that process to re-strengthen my wrist, and we took it very easy. But I think for me, I was very fortunate to have a trainer around me who knew so much about me that he kind of helped me rehab and get through the injuries that I had. But other than that, I didn't really have anything. In the last 2 years, I had a shoulder injury, but that was just me getting old and tired, I think. So we were able to get through that pretty good, and I think everything turned out okay. But yeah, whenever I had something that hurt, I would always tell my trainer, just so we were ahead of it. So it never got to the point where it was so bad where I would miss days or weeks or months of training. I have a sister who went through bulging herniated disc in both of her neck and her back that put her out of the sport for good, because she didn't say when something was hurting. So I think that's a big key, and something that I learned at a very young age. If you have an injury or something that's bothering you, make sure you communicate that problem so you can get ahead of it and take care of it before it gets worse.
Good advice there. You take heed of that. Who's got the next question, please?
Hi, my name is Leah, and I'm a swimmer from Brickcomic. And my question is for you. Which other athlete do you most enjoy and why?
Most enjoy in which way? To race? To
No, which do you most adore?
adore? As a kid growing up, I looked up to Michael Jordan just because of what he did in the sport of basketball and how he changed it. And that was something that I wanted to do in sport. So that he is somebody who just, everybody says GOAT. He, I think, is the original GOAT, greatest of all time, and he just somebody that I've always looked up to in trying to do what I wanted to do in my respective sport. But now there's so many great athletes out right now. I think we're very spoiled in this world to see some of the greatest of all time every single day playing. You have a chance to see greats in you have Jordan in golf, obviously. Bryce, Andy Murray. We got a pretty good star-studded field of athletes who are the best in the world.
Do we have any more questions? One here.
Hi, my name is Brayden, and I'm a swimmer as well. If there's one bit of advice you could give all us kids to help us be the best we can, what would it be?
Never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. I mean, I can share tons of stories of times where I wanted to quit swimming from the age of 15 to 25, 26, where I didn't enjoy it. And I think that's something that for me, I finally found that I shouldn't quit, I shouldn't give up because of the goals that I have. That's something that's so important. I cannot stress that enough. For me to be able to be where I am today and to accomplish the things that I've done, I had to have lofty goals. Like there's nothing else that motivated me. For me, I listen to "The Sky Is the Limit." It's a Biggie Smalls song, and it's what I believe because I think it's the truth. The sky is the limit, and if you want something bad enough, you're the only person that can stop you from achieving that. So you have to dream and believe that you can achieve whatever you want. And for me, people probably look at me like I was crazy wanting to win 8 gold medals. But I believed it. I believed I could do it. And I put the time and the effort into it. I sacrificed things. I was dedicated. I think that's one thing that is really important. Never ever give up. Because look, my career was not a smooth career. I had big bumps in my career. I had big ups and I had big downs. It's not easy, but if you want something bad enough, you can achieve any possible thing you want. I believe that 100%. Goes for all of you too. You all should have goals. Have goals that you want to achieve. Make them challenging. Make them something meaningful to you. That's what made me get out of bed every day, even when I didn't want to. I had those goals. So my goals from Rio, I had them sitting in my closet. I got back from Rio, and I kind of ignored them for a while because I knew I didn't achieve every one of them. And I looked at them, and I achieved one, my 100 free on the relay. I was 47.1. That's what I wanted to go. I didn't achieve my 200 IM goal. Didn't achieve my 100 fly, my 200 fly. Didn't achieve any of those goals, and I was very frustrated. For me, the biggest goal that I didn't accomplish last year was I wanted to break another world record. I wanted to break 40 world records. That was what I wanted to do, and it's probably still going to frustrate me for a while until I figure out how to let it go. But I'm very hard on myself. When I told my coach, I texted him and I said, well, we didn't really accomplish that much in Rio, and in a joking way. And he just said, let it go. And for me, it's that's where I am. I'm in the process of trying to, like we talked about earlier, go through every Olympics and catch up through my career. So for me, it's a hard time when I don't accomplish my goals, but now I have the chance to change it and do more outside of the pool, and that's something that I'm excited for. So your goals should be meaningful, and if you don't accomplish them, don't give up. Never, ever, ever, please.
That is the motto.
Trust me.
Michael, we have time for one or two more. We've got some members of the media here who want to pose a question. Easy ones, I hope.
Hi, Michael. It's Rick from Worldwide Golf here. I know you've spoken here. You spend a lot more time on the golf course nowadays compared to the swimming pool. So I guess slightly better scenery than the swimming pool. What are your favourite golf courses around the world? And have you had a chance to check out any here in Dubai? And if so, which ones have you taken?
I want to come back to experience more here in Dubai. We flew in late last night, and we fly out today to go to Hong Kong. And I'd like to spend a couple of days here to really experience more of the city. I've heard so many amazing things about the city, and it's a place my wife and I want to come back to. I actually just played Bandon Dunes in Oregon, top 15 course in the world, and I got torn up. That course ate me alive. But I've played the old course, Carnoustie, Kingsnorth. I've played a couple in Scotland, a couple worldwide, and for me, my agent actually gave me this golf board of top courses in the world, and I want to put a peg on every single golf course. So I've probably got about 20 golf courses, 20 top 100 golf courses in the world, and I think the cool thing about golf is you can play the same course every day, and every hole can play different. I think that's something that's really special. I mean, for me, swimming pool is 78 to 80 degrees, it's 10 feet deep, lane lines are 6 feet apart. Like nothing ever changes in the pool. So, for me to experience different golf courses, I think I need to improve my game before I can really experience them. Like I said, I do spend a lot of time in the rough or punching out of trees or trying to not hit trees. So it's a process. And I actually have a friendly wager with a friend to get to a certain handicap by April, and it's not looking too good for my side.
I'm back here. This is the last question from Mr. Chill.
You're here in part to inspire the UN youth. What's the best bit of advice you ever received, and who gave it to you, either when you were younger or whilst you were children?
I mean, I think a lot went into really me being able to accomplish what I did, and you know, I think when I first got with my coach in I guess what year was that? 96. I found somebody that believed in me and that truly thought that I could do anything I wanted to. And for me, that was something big because I never really had a father growing up. So he was somebody who acted as a father for me. And, you know, just hearing that and feeling that and trusting that, I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I believed that he could do everything he told me. But I did. And he held up on his side of the deal. You know, everything that I ever wanted to accomplish, I expressed to him. And we did it together. So, you know, that's why I say to these kids, never give up. You know, I've got, like I said, I've gone through the worst things in the world, and I've had some of the greatest experiences of my life. And it all started when I got with my coach back in '96.
Well, it's been an absolute privilege. Michael Phelps, absolute privilege to hear you speak today. It's a huge honor. Contain you for just a few moments because we have the Under Armour Fitness Championship and we've got the winners ready to come up and receive their vouchers from your good self. So, if I could call up third place in the Under Armour Fitness Challenge, Matthew Green.
What is the fitness challenge?
It was challenged on a couple of days ago.
Coming up next.
It's like 3 different workouts.
Oh, cool. Cheers.
Andrew Cook.
I need to go on to your guys' workouts. Can you guys give me some? Cheers. No worries.
And winning the Under Armour Challenge in the men's category, Jack Lear. Right, on to the ladies. Under Armour
You
Challenge.
guys have any secrets? I should take somebody else to.
Yeah, up.
Oh, okay. Go back.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, on to the ladies division. In third place, Jade Blackmore. Runner-up for the ladies, Jess Towell. And the champion for the ladies for Under Armour Challenge 2017, Fern Caver. Finally, we had a team event.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we're having a group photo.
No, not really. I wanted to be taller. I always wanted 6'6". Never got it.
And finally, the winning team. And there's a few individuals who've been up already. Fern Caver, Justin Perry, Jess Towell, and Jack Lear.
Congrats. Teamwork makes the dream work. Congrats, guys.
Well done, guys. Give that applause. And a big round of applause for Michael Phelps. We have one last job for you to do, Michael, and that is is to high five the kids, obviously.
What's our final thing? Yes, yes.
Now, to inaugurate something, usually it's a ribbon cutting, but this is Under Armour, so we're going to cut a chain.
Cut the chain.
So I hope Michael's been working out. This is to inaugurate the flagship Under Armour store.
Cutting the chain. I hope I got it right. One. Oh, we got the cameras. Ready? Maybe not. There we go.
Thank you guys, thank you to Under Armour, thank you very once again to Michael Phelps. Thank you very much.